Okay, Graham Buckley here from Arion Games, and it's been a while since my last video, but I thought I might go through the new Advanced Fighting Fantasy rule set with you for Fantasy Grounds. Now, it has been a while in the making, and I know I've done one or two videos looking at this in preparation, but I thought I'd go through the release rule set. Let's just adjust the camera slightly. I thought I'd done that. Right, so the rule set's changed slightly since the earlier days. We have lost a lot of the buttons on the right hand side, the image buttons, but that was a Fantasy Grounds decision, not ours. But we have full functionality here. We haven't got every single function we're ever going to want. There are still plenty of things to be added. That is important to remember. What we do have, however, is we've got a fully functional character sheet. So we can make a new character, which I'm going to call Bob. Human there. We can assign our stats. So we've got 7 skill, make the current 7. We've got stamina 16 and luck, say 10. Okay, we've got no magic at the moment on this character and no magic points. So if we make a skill roll, we can just double click on skill, it rolls our 2 dice, it looks for under skill, 6 is less than 7, success, and it reports that in the chat log at the bottom there. If we make a luck roll, then we succeed. But if you notice now our luck has gone down to 9, so if we attempt again we're rolling versus 9, so we make it again, but it's now gone down to 8 and so on. So luck will continually decrease every time you attempt it. We've got space for our weapons and our armour, for our skills, spells, inventory and notes. So I'm going to go through some of those bits. Now in our library we've got the core book and we've got the core book extras. Core book extras, things like the skills and so on and so forth. So if, for example, we want to add a couple of special skills to our character, we can click on the skills list. We can put in swords. We can put in armour. We can put in forest lore. And let's put in climb. That'll do. Now, you'll notice that armour, climb and swords all have skill as the type. Now we can click on that and change it to magic. Forest lore doesn't have one assigned, and that's because it's a knowledge special skill. So it can run from magic or it can run from skill depending on what type of character you have. So I'm going to assign it to skill. We'll put 1 into armour, we'll put 1 into climb, we'll put 1 into forest lore, and we'll put 2 into swords. So now if I make a swords roll, we roll 2 dice and we compare that to a target of 9 because we have 2 in skill, 2 in the special skill, 7 in skill. Now the 10 failed, but only just. So we can drag our skills into there. We can also look at the description of them just by clicking on the box at the end as is usual with Fantasy Grounds. We can put talents in. And so, for example, if we have the strong arm talent, we can put that in there. Now, at the moment, these talents are not automated in their effect. They will be, but at the moment, they're not. But because of the way most of the talents are used, it's not particularly difficult to set those up. So we can go back to our main tab now, and we can add some weapons. So we do have a weapons list from within our library here. So we can put in a sword. I will also put in a longbow. So this character doesn't have the bow special skill but does have the swords. I'm also going to put in some armour from the armour list. We'll click on that there. And I'm going to put in just a leather hauberk, drag that in properly, a leather hauberk and a small shield. Pretty standard sort of starting adventurer weapons and armour there. So now that we've got our weapons and armour in, we can have a look at these. So if we click on the end of sword there, we can see our damage table. We roll for the damage it does on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the related skill. I'm going to apply swords. We've also got boxes here for attack modifier and damage modifier. So our damage modifier is actually a 1 because we have the strong arm skill, special strong arm talent. So we add 1 to our damage rolls. Now, if this was a magic sword, if this was a sword of wounding, we could make a new sword of wounding that had a damage modifier of +2. If it was a sword of striking with an attack modifier, we could put that in that box there. So now, when we make an attack roll with our sword, we click on the button to the left of the sword name, we roll 2 dice. There we got a 2 and a 6, that's 8. We add our 7 skill, and we add our 2 swords skill, so that's 9. So 8 plus 9 is 17, that is our attack total. If that attack wins, we can then click on the damage button. That rolls our d6, adds our 1 from strong arm to get a 3, and reports here did 3 damage. Now again, at the moment, the damage is not automated. It will be, but this is a relatively complex thing to do, and it could take some time to get this sorted out. We wanted to release this so people can use it. If, however, this 17 is not enough to win, then we can actually roll for our Hawbuck. And so that absorbed 1 damage there. Obviously we can roll for our shield, we can roll them separately, or we can actually combine those. Now, we've also got a combat tracker. So we can apply our character Bob in there. Let's just put a goblin in. So we can click on goblin. Let's just expand that out there. We've got a description of the goblin. There we do have Out of the Pit almost ready to go. So hopefully that should provide you with a good 250 monsters very, very shortly. So we can target these on each other as normal, and we can do a combat round. And I'm going to clear down the chat log just to make it easier to see. So our hero Bob attacks with a sword, gets a total of 14. Our goblin, we just double click on the attacks box, only rolls a 4, adds that to his 5 skill and gets a 9. So Bob will hit. So he would then roll his damage. He does 3 damage. The armour of the goblin, you have a little armour track here, we can double click on that and that stops no damage. So we would then reduce the goblin's stamina by 3. So down to a 2 in the combat tracker there. And of course when it gets to the end, when it gets to 0, it'll indicate he's defeated. If the goblin does damage, then he would roll here, does 3 damage, roll for Hawbuck, stops none, and we can apply it to Bob there. So there is still automation that needs to be added there. It is relatively complex to do because of the way it works. In something like D&D, you roll your attack, if you hit, you roll your damage, it comes off their hits. Whereas here we've got an opposed mechanism, we've got opposed attack rolls, we've got opposed damage and armour rolls. And of course the armour and damage rolls are not linear. They're not just roll a d6 and do that much damage. Okay. So we've got our combat tracker there, so we can roll our attack, we can roll our damage there. And actually in play it's very, very quick. What I'm now going to do though is add 5 magic and 10 magic points to this character, and I'm also going to add the special skill magic wizardry. I'm just going to give him a 1. What we can now do is we can put some spells in. So we have a where's wizardry spells, down towards the bottom, and as you can see, we've got all of our minor magic spells in here, priestly abilities, sorcery spells, and wizardry spells. So if I put a firebolt in, if we click on the box at the end, it says casting time, cast range is all in there, damage is in there as well. Again, at the moment, these are not fully automated. We will be having effects for these very shortly. But if you want to cast Firebolt, you just click on the casting button, and it compares it to your magic stat plus your magic special skill, and we've cast it. It's a success. And as you can see, the magic points have been reduced. So what you would now have to do is just roll your d6 damage and say, right, we've done 4 damage to the goblin, we take the 4 off, etc. Most of it is relatively straightforward. We've got our spells there. Our inventory, we've got a whole load of items. So for example, we could add a backpack here. We could add a bell. Now, following the standard AFF encumbrance rules, these are big items. These have a weight of 1, so we've got total weight carried of 2. If we had, however, let's find something very light. And it's always the same whenever you want to try and find something. Glue. So glue vial is only 0.1 because it's not a particularly significant weight. Okay, so you've got those. But what we can also do, we can make these consumable. And we can apply an action to them as well. And again, we're going to have more actions. So when the glue is used, we know that then is reduced down. What we can also do, right, so when I double clicked on the number, it says Bob uses glue, vial, consumed. So the glue is now gone. Now we leave that in there because if Bob is a sorcerer and uses a vial of glue to his spells, he's probably going to use, he's going to buy more and so on and so forth. So you then go to the shops and you buy 3 more vials, and then he casts another spell that uses a vial, he's got 2. Now, we can also create new items. So if we create a new item, potion of minor healing, we can give it a non-ID name, so green potion, so we can make that ID'd or not. We can give it a cost of 15 gold pieces. We can give it a weight of 0.1 because it's not a significant item. We can make a consumable action, change stamina, action value 4. So if I then put a potion of minor healing in here, it shows up as green potion. If we then injure Bob and reduce him to 6, we should then be able to use our green potion. It says uses green vial consumed, uses potion of minor healing consumed, change stamina by 4 points, and his stamina has now gone back up to 10. So again, at the moment these effects are relatively limited, but it's certainly possible that we will be adding more and more of these in as we work on it. And then we've got the standard notes. So we've got a fully functional character sheet for AFF. It is relatively straightforward. At the moment we've only got a handful of monsters in here. That's not a major issue at this stage because it's quite easy to make them up, add them in, but Out of the Pit will be available very, very soon. We've got tables like the, let's go to the, so we've got the oops spell failure table, so we can roll an oops if we cast a spell. 17, caster immediately changes sex, only a powerful archmage can reverse this. We've got the combat fumble table. So we fumble in combat and hero falls flat on his face. So we've got tables in here. We've got various other bits and pieces. We will be adding a lot to this. We're going to release some adventures. So Warlock of Firetop Mountain is on the list to do very soon. Hero's Companion is partly done. Out of the Pit is pretty much finished, it just needs to be submitted for review. We will also hopefully be releasing the Wishing Well very, very soon as a free add-on, as a free mod. And we will be updating this frequently. On the Fantasy Grounds forum there is a section for bugs and feature requests. If you like it and you get it, please go there and fill that in. Please do let us know what you think. I'm intending to do another video on a few more features of this very soon, because I'm aware that this is now at 15 minutes. But if you do like it, head over to Fantasy Grounds and I'll put a link in the chat for where you can buy it. Hopefully that's piqued your interest. Hopefully you'll pick it up. Hopefully you'll play some more AFF online. Good gaming.